Here we are again. This is slopesite.com. That's slopesite, D-O-T-C-O-M. And we're doing the second video on modifying the Cosmic Flyer into a sloper. It's a plane that we picked up at Radio Shack. It's a closeout special, 20 bucks. Had a good enough wing to make a sloper. The thing I like about the wing and what would make a good modification is it has enough of a flat center section to add ailerons. This particular wing is totally flat in the center, but if it had dihedral, as long as we have a flat enough area for ailerons, that would work. So we're cutting the ailerons today, and a little bit of figures here. I went with a 22% cut for the ailerons. Slopers, good slopers have anywhere from 20 to 25% aileron cut. Of course, we're applying good LAR technology here so that we can get this thing to fly. The measuring of the ailerons, what I did is from the center section to this first cut here, I went 3.5 centimeters. And out here on the end, there's a little tit here that turned out to be just about where the wing starts to flare up. We don't want to get any flare into the ailerons because then the hinge won't work properly. And the good way to tell where the flare starts is you just hold the wing down, and I slide a piece of paper in there until the paper catches. And it just came out just about where that little tit is. So I just went with that because it's got that marker on both wings and they're both the same distance from the center. Now let's see, what else did I do for cutting the ailerons? I gave you this measurement here and this measurement here, and this measurement from here to the trailing edge was 2.3 centimeters. 2.3 centimeters here. This cut here was from the center to here is 3.5 centimeters. And this cut here was just inside this little tit because that's where the flare starts. And so I made the measurement, and to get a good straight line here, used a triangle, got a good straight line there, a good straight line here. Nice soft number 2 pencil works real well on this stuff. It gives you enough of a line that you can see it. And of course, to cut it, you got to have a good straight edge. This is a nice little straight edge. I got it at Walgreens or someplace, but it's got a little foam backing which holds it in place real well, so I can hold it down and do a nice cut. Now I already cut this one out here, and this stuff is really tough plastic. I had no idea it was so tough. So I had to make several passes, and you got to be patient, make several passes so that it cuts, gives you a nice straight cut. So that's it for the aileron, and I got one cut out already. I'll show you that, and I got this one marked for the other one to cut out, and we'll cut that out and show you more. Okay, we got the aileron cut out, and that is tough material. Make sure you have a really sharp blade. Get a new blade to cut that out because that's really tough plastic. Got the aileron cut out. Now another thing I'm going to have to do is, this can't fit too tight, so I'm going to sand this edge down so that it has enough area to flex up and down when it's in the plane. Another thing I have to do is I have to taper, put a little bevel on the underside of that aileron so that when it goes down, it's not going to jam against the underside of the wing. And then I'll probably use tape hinges, and we'll show you that later on. Okay, we're getting ready to sand. I'm going to show you a little way that I found the best way to sand bevels on these. Cutting it's pretty hard. I can get a better bevel, more accurate, by sanding it. And make sure you put a little mark there. You can see I've got it, it's you know, a little bit less than 45 degrees, just so you have a guide to go by. Okay, I got the aileron taped down. It saves a lot of frustration, keeps it from moving around. Just when you pull the tape off when you're through, make sure you don't break the aileron because they're still kind of fragile. Okay, I'm getting ready to sand the bevel on the aileron, and I tape it down. That just helps hold it in place because you're going to use the edge of this hardboard here as a guide, and you need to take a little bit extra off of the beveled side of the aileron to make room for the hinge. We use hinge tape, and if you don't take a little bit off, it's going to bind, or the trailing edges won't match. I mean, you know, maybe I'm being kind of picky, but it makes it fly better. Okay, something I would like to mention is when you're cutting this or anything, make sure you have some kind of a board. This happens to be a piece of Formica that was in a cabinet that I blew up. And make sure there's no grain in it, because if you just use a regular board with grain in it, when you go through, your blade's going to start drifting off and following the grain. So don't use corrugated cardboard. It's got grain in it. That'll do the same thing. Just something that doesn't have any grain in it is good for a cutting board. Plaster board is even good. A piece of plaster board. Okay, and for sanding, you gotta have a good sanding block. It doesn't have to be this fancy. I've got several of them that are just a chunk of wood, and I stuck some 180 grit sandpaper on. That seems to cut this stuff pretty good. So I'll show you just a little bit of sanding, how I get a tapered edge on the aileron. So you just gotta, and the thing is, you gotta have a long sanding block, and you gotta go long even strokes so that you get an even taper from one side to the other. You have to stop every now and then and check your mark at the end. Make sure you're getting a good bevel. See, that's cutting pretty good. I'm cutting deeper here and here, so I gotta compensate. And taping that aileron down to the board helps a lot. So here's the finished aileron. I got it all sanded down, and you can see there's a little gap here. You got to have a little gap for the hinge right here. So when you put that hinge tape on there, it's going to want to push that aileron out, and you want your trailing edge to line up. Well, at least I do. Got a little bit of gap here. We sanded the end of the aileron off so that the aileron doesn't bind to the wing. Did that on both sides, and we've got the taper where I like it, and that should be it. Next step is to tape it on.